utilities disk, and I recommend that you get that. All of you should have a pass-out sheet about formatting a 100 megabyte CMD zip disk, okay? And with that information, you should be able to put your IBM style zip disk into this drive and format it, and then prove it to yourself that this is running. But I have
64 don't need to talk. Right.
Socket CIUs. Or steam pole or CIUs and signals.
Let's see if
They'd be able to use it without.
you know your Commodore
He doesn't say
user if you do that.
that's all right.
Check it around.
Okay. I'm a coder.
Yeah, the video card works on the 64. Actually, I have two of them. One that's not really functioning. That has a lot more
Excuse
features.
me, folks. Excuse me? That's beside bothering here. I mean, if we want this recorded,
Gosh,
sacrifice
what am I
has to be
getting
made.
myself into if I make all these promises?
Hey, if you make promises and it never comes to be, it'll just be normal standard operating.
You'll be just like me.
It just happens all the time, but the point is, we are true believers and we love to dream, and this is a dream we would all like to see. Now, I know it's plugged. I need a place to plug. Does anyone have a free plug anywhere within
Right here.
50 to 100 yards?
There's one down here.
Yeah,
Sorry. What do you plug it into? Just throw it behind you, plug that. Same problem before.
Yeah, if you get dragged in under the table, something's under there.
Yeah, well, unplug this, plug this.
Get his picture. I plugged in the strip, is what I did. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's okay. And then can we?
I assume that's what.
Getting power out of the wall earlier.
All right, just a second.
You want a chair?
First of all, give us a little history. What's your name? Where are you from?
No, she's not supposed to say anything yet.
Once Dale is ready.
I'm sorry, but when I push, this is getting no electricity. So whatever I plugged into is not
Come
getting
over
any
here to where
electricity.
we're plugged in.
Yeah, let's get to where she's plugged in.
All right.
That's a nice neighborhood.
Short-circuited demo.
Pass it down, no turn.
What's all the power lights?
How much you gonna charge him, Jerry? Small nominal fee, right?
Just right here. Take one of my 15, 40.
Oh, it's a GE camera.
Oh, I tell you. Wait, this is cheap. I don't even want to tell you how much it costs. But what I do. Now, when I do this, it's supposed to come on, folks. Now, it's coming on down here. It's not coming on up here. This is on here.
What's that smoke coming out of?
Recording this?
We ought to record Dale.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had
Well, I'm waiting for this.
You must be using some of my code.
well, I can't hold you up any longer. I'm sorry.
No.
This is
Go for it.
there. It is not working. Okay.
It does not
It was working before when I had this system, and so yeah, it shows I got power down here, right?
Is there a switch on there for charge and run?
Hold out the meters. There you go. There go. Check. Did it. Nothing moved. Well, we can put
13 volts.
volts coming into it.
Okay.
You got the tape in it.
Yeah, I've got tape, but even if I don't have tape, it ought to be able. See.
You want an introduction? Steve, where's your music disc?
One of the messiest.
Thank you.
You ready?
All right.
Do I have to stand in here so I stay in the...
Or you can replace your cup with the board now.
I'm gonna have to drink a little bit here so I can talk. I've been trying to get over a creepy crud for a while.
Please introduce yourself and then.
You ready?
Yes.
Okay, my name's Jeri Ellsworth. I'm 25 years old. I got started back in 82 or 83. My dad bought me a Commodore 64. I used to sit there, I was whatever, 7 or 8, typing on it and doing, the Commodore magazine programs, and typing for hours, and, hunting and pecking and running at the end and having syntax errors and having to shut it off because I didn't know how to save the program or format a disk. I was always interested in electronics and mechanical things, and I would tear apart radios and TVs and dishwashers or anything I could get my hands on. And I lived way out of town, out on a farm, like 9 miles out of town with no one else around, so I just kind of learned how to entertain myself, and it just happened to be the computer. So, I don't know, the way I got into Commodore hardware hacking is cartridges. I was just fascinated with these game cartridges that had Donkey Kong or whatever on it, and I didn't understand how it worked. I thought it was just wires inside making connections from one pin to another, and I would take nails and I'd scrape across the cartridge port on the back of my 64 and try to make games come up and watch funny colors on the screen and burn it out. I think I helped Commodore go out of business because under that first year of warranty, I think we took it back 3 or 4 times. But out of necessity, after I did that one time, or I was sticking something into the user port, or I burned out the 64 and I had to open it up and try to figure out why it didn't work. My dad said, "Now you've done it. You've ruined your computer, and it's out of warranty, and I'm not going to fix it." And so I opened it up and found the little fuse and bypassed that, got it working, and
Gum wrapper works wonders, doesn't it?
That's better than replace
as
the
other people
fuse.
saw earlier, my computer my motherboard that died here, I had a jumper wire across the fuse on it too, so still even today I do the old jumper across the fuse trick. But I got into more and more into hardware. Probably my biggest project, I was like 14 or so, I made a audio digitizer and different little things and oscilloscopes, and then I kind of got diverted away from the whole thing because I didn't have a lot of money to buy fancy chips and tools and stuff to work with it. So I've been kind of dormant for a while and just kind of following everything and playing with my Amiga stuff. 4 years ago I opened a computer store and opened another, and now I have 3 computer stores, and we're opening a gaming center for sell Nintendos and PlayStations. So now I've bought myself some freedom to go ahead and buy some tools and some time, and so now I can start designing again. And this whole time I've been kind of reading and learning about different programmable devices. And so I guess, is that a good enough introduction? That's where we're at today.
Where are your stores? Where you live?
Oh, I live in Oregon. My stores are up the Willamette Valley.
All right. Willamette. Yeah. Eugene? Pittsburgh?
No,
Portland?
close to Portland. I have Canby, Monmouth, and
Canby, all right.
and Albany.
Albany, yeah.
How did you hear about this expo?
I stumbled across it on the internet. I had never seen it before. I didn't even know it existed. So I was really excited to see that it was here, and I decided like maybe a month ago or so, I go, well, it's time for me to make a really cool project. And so I started building the video chip. And it's been a total scramble trying to get it to work for the show. I built this prototype. It has DMA and banking and all kinds of things. It has one sprite on it, and it has true 24-bit color. It has a DDA card that goes on here that you plug your monitor into, and it has another mezzanine card that plugs into the top of it that does all the register decoding to try to emulate the VIC registers. And the reason I have so much external circuitry is because the particular chip that I bought, I thought that 84 pins would be enough to do it. And as the project progressed, I found out, well, there's not enough pins for memory, and there's not enough pins to interface to the VIC, and so my project grew out of the chip and started growing onto all these boards and became a real mess. So it's probably just the reason this works is there's probably just a wiring error somewhere, and about, was it 4 days ago, I decided, well, I would turn it on, then I'd try to do a DMA access, or I'd try to bank a 16K chunk of memory into the system memory, and would lock the computer up. And I just figured it'd take me 2 months to try to debug this. It was just easier to start over. So 4 or 5 days ago, I started a new card, and I dropped most of the features on this one, and I just used the 84-pin package, and I got a functional one that I can get a display up that shows something. So basically this one, this does 1024 by 800, 800 by 600, 512 by 400, which is kind of an oddball one, and 300 by 200 are the resolutions I put into it now. And I use a compressed lookup table on it so that it uses very small bitmap images. So the problem is a lot of things that like PC uses, you know, a bitmap image at 1024 can be a meg of information, and that's just too much for the 64 to be pushing around. So I decided to go with this same. It's a similar system that the 64 uses now, where it's got
Cards. We call them cards.
cards. I thought they were called stamps or
Cards.
cards.
Commodore 64 reference manual, it says cards.
Cards. Okay, it uses cards, 8 by 8 cards that are, that go across. So there's 127 of them, and there's some bytes at the end that are unused, which I've implemented to change the palette. For every single line, you can change the palette. So every row can have a unique palette, and it's split up into 4 sections with whatever it divides out with 127. I think we're dropping one character off at the end, or one card at the end. But it changes the palette 4 times, and you can, per 4 by 4 pixel area, you can 4 by 8 pixel area, you can have choose any of 4 colors, your background, foreground, or 2 of the palettes. And I've also implemented where you can change the foreground, background with these unused bytes at the end too. So every line can have a different foreground, background, color scheme too. So it gives you a lot of variety of color per scan line. But anyway, with that system, it makes it quite a bit smaller, and I can fit 1024 in 64K roughly. Well over 64K with the color lookup tables, but it's very easy for the 64 to push around.
Okay, right now we're just seeing lines there, right? I mean, you don't have any text or...
I got this, well actually, to maybe back up a little bit. I was programming this, I was doing some tweaks on it because there's a problem with it. For some reason my color lookup table is stair-stepping down every line. It's not lined up straight across the way it should be. So I've got an address line somewhere that's in the wrong place, or it's just not addressing the memory correctly. So what I was doing, the night before I was taking off, it was like 4 in the morning, I was doing tweaks on my computer. I have it so it's live programmable. I can reprogram this chip while it's running and view what it changes. So I would view the schematic, move a wire around, reprogram it. Well, I had it hooked to an old monitor, just an old Packard Bell monitor. It teaches me. That I should have known. Every time it turned on and off, I heard a static sound, you know, the sound you hear. Well, I didn't put any diode protection on the inputs, and I burned out my Altair chip before I even had time.
We have a lot of problems with Altair chips. No, I'm just teasing you. Go ahead.
Well,
We don't know what you're talking about, but it sounds good.
am I going too technical here?
No.
You're fine.
Well, anyway, I zapped the chip, dead. It wouldn't work anymore, so I haven't had any time to program anything. I had FedEx next day aired in a chip. It just showed up, several hours ago to the front desk. I plugged it in. I just programmed it, and I'm hoping this monitor won't zap it until I get some protection circuitry on it, so it doesn't happen. Okay. Yeah, I think VSonic whatever is okay. So, ultimately, what I want to do
Yes,
is,
thank you. Yeah, that's
I don't know what direction I'm going to go with it right now. I might make a plug-in cartridge port, but I've been doing some research on ASICs. In 1,000 quantity, you can get ASICs made with it. I think it's 0.25 micron, which, let me back up. Okay. I'm getting way ahead of myself on a lot of this stuff. I want to take the whole 64, put it onto a single chip, everything, on one single chip on an ASIC. That's going to cost me, wholesale cost maybe $40 in quantity. I'm guessing. Don't make me stick to that at all. But it has a maximum speed with the technology it uses to go up to 166 megahertz. So I'd like to make a 166 megahertz Commodore 64. Yes. With I don't know if this is going to work, okay? It's a dream, so I'm musing out loud again.
Can you get a discount on a super CPU tray?
What's the scrap iron price for...
Did you hear someone say that will they be PAL compatible as well as, in other words, can they use a European electricity as well as electricity here?
Yeah, will run on a 5-volt supply, so that's not a problem there. I